Hello. Welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. Let's hope that I'm not muted tonight. I started the claps late. I fucked up everything. That I was supposed to be doing. Guys, we got a great show for you tonight. I'm very excited. Sorry we couldn't do a show on Friday. My two wonderful guest hosts were out of town. Unfortunately, it was the day after Thanksgiving, and things got busy, and I was going to have a guest, and that guest fell through, and so I just was like not going to sit here in front of the camera and bore everyone all by myself. I didn't feel like that was going to be useful to anybody. I'm not the talent here. You know what I mean? I'm just the guy who hosts the show. The talent is everybody else in the studio.
Now he's going to bore you with three other people.
Yeah, now we're going to be able to bore everybody together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's almost the holidays.
The group effort.
Why not bore everyone together? We got a great show for you tonight. Last night was wild. If you get to watch Tim Pool, so we're definitely going to be talking a lot about that tonight. It was fucking insane. Before we get too far into it, of course, let's talk about Top Lobster. The man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this great fuck around and find out. Gun, Lady, Liberty shirt, the hoodie that you see me wearing tonight, you can get it in this army green color or 100 other colors by using BTC at checkout for a 10% discount, or you can join the Patreon, subscribe star, become a member of the YouTube channel under all of my videos by hitting the join link, where you can get into a private Discord server and get up to 30% off for 2 weeks on all his new gear before it goes to the general public. So if you're like $5 or $10 a month supporting Patreon and getting all of Top Lobster's new stuff, you're really saving money and supporting two people who are trying to put out content. And so it's a good deal for all three of us. So we appreciate that. We appreciate you for doing that. And of course, one of his new shirts is amazing. I talk about it on every show. Raytheon sent him a cease and desist letter for putting out a Raytheon shirt, and instead of getting entirely rid of the shirt, you just change it to Gaytheon in rainbow colors, and it's perfect. You can get that shirt by using BTC at checkout for a 10% discount, or like I said, join the show, support us all, and make yourself a little money too. Good stuff. And of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency crisis planning needs. Check them out today, see what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at much cheaper and much more efficiently. They help organizations solve unsolvable problems in the technology and HR arenas. Their team leads by example. Anthem consultants have led their own organizations through demanding periods of change. Now they help clients succeed in the face of technology, personnel challenges, and they're amazing people. I mean, Amy Lepore is one of my favorites. I've had her on the show a couple times. Probably about time to have her back on the show soon. Or her wonderful husband. Either one of them are amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. So I'd love to have them on. Guys, let's check in with my well-haired, beautiful co-host, Mr. Ryan Kurt. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. The basketball league I'm in started up last night, and my older brother said to tell you we won. Suck it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad. Hey, listen, I'm glad you're doing something that's fun for you. I signed my 11-year-old son up for basketball starting in January. He'll be playing with Upward, which is like the church leagues, but they have a really big league here.
Okay.
And it's pretty cheapish, but they also have cheerleading. So my 8-year-old wants to do cheerleading, so she's going to be cheerleading. He's going to be playing basketball. It's a pretty cool little situation. But I bet you feel like shit today, though, right? After your first game?
I don't.
You feel good?
No, I played some football with the family over Thanksgiving. I was really sore after that.
Oh.
And then played basketball. I was really sore after basketball. I'm like, I'm going to die. But then I chugged a protein shake, and I'm good.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
You're also, what, 27?
27.
Yeah, you're still a baby, dude. Wait till you're 40 and you try and do that shit. It hurts. It fucking hurts, dude. I played semi-pro football. My last season of semi-pro football at 33, 34 years old. And I literally had an ice bath and then heat pad after every game for like 3 days. And by the time the next practice rolled around, it was like, oh, great, here we go again. You know what I mean? It fucking sucked. But it was fun, though, dude. Like, I was the third oldest guy in the entire football league. It was the PNFL up in Portland area. And it was a lot of fun. I was on the Rip City Mafia. We went to the championship. We lost. We only lost one game in the regular season and then lost the championship. That was it. It was pretty fucking fun. And I did like Iron Man. I played defensive end and tight end, both sides of the ball.
Jesus.
Almost the whole season.
Well, that's the ice bath right there.
It was fucking nuts, dude. And it was old. I mean, I was 33, you know, like there was one guy that was 35 and one guy that was 40. And the 40-year-old was one of our wide receivers. And
Jesus.
A monster beast, bro. He would get hammered drunk before he went to practice and still faster than ever. At 40 years old.
TRT.
Like, I'm 40 now. I can only imagine being like that right. This last 7 years have not been kind to my body. And of course, my other wonderful, amazing co-host, who's also beautiful and has one of the best stashes you've ever seen, Mr. AJ Fisher. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I had a birthday Friday.
Oh, happy
so you're,
birthday.
Yeah.
35 now? 36?
Yeah. 44.
Damn, you're creeping on my mom, bro. You're like almost as old as my mom.
Yeah. It was fun though.
It was a good time.
I had a lot of green bean casserole.
Well, hey man, we did not do a traditional Thanksgiving. I had to work Thanksgiving. I didn't get off till like 6 o'clock. Pointless to fucking cook. But then my fiance's wonderful sister, giant ass house, in a big, gotta be 8,000 square. And her and her husband.
Jesus.
And so it was really nice. And I still had to work that day too, but I got off and was able to go over and eat because I didn't have. So I really appreciated that. Guys, we have a great guest for you tonight. This will be the third or fourth or fifth time he's been on my show. It's been on quite a few times for sure. But he's one of my very good friends. I love him to death. He's the host of The Naturalist Capitalist and one of the most savage dudes you will ever meet in your entire life. Everyone's second favorite trucker, Mr. Reed Coverdale. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I want to know who the favorite trucker is, though, because I think that loser Top Lobster is done with his steering wheel days.
Yeah, I think he's just drawn these days mostly, and being a family man. That's good. You finished your trucking days too, didn't you?
No, I'm still. I mean, I just got another job. Actually, I started yesterday. I'm running a vacuum truck because everyone knows how good I am at sucking. So I figured, I'd put put it to some sort of use and try to make some money off of it. So
Sure. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad. Someone in the chat is saying that it's just loading and they're having some communication errors, but we're not dropping any frame.
Yeah, I'm not having.
Yeah,
I haven't had
I'm
any
thinking it's
loading.
your internet, buddy.
Mhm.
Mr. Conrail and your internet. Ours are doing great. I'm not live streaming to any other channels except for YouTube right now. So, but we are going to figure that out. I actually have a consult and a tech coming out to look at our upstream to try and fix it because it was like I checked it was like 40. It was nothing. Upstream was trash.
So Josh, I know I told you this before we started streaming, but the way I always did it, just in the back of the truck, open the laptop up, just go live, no fancy green screen effects, no, like nice lighting or crystal clear imaging or anything. And what I realized from the beginning, where you failed to pick up on this, is if you set the bar really low for production value, you will meet it every time you do a show.
Right.
So now if I have internet service crash in the middle of the show or my camera gives out or something, it's just become like part of the atmosphere of the Naturalist Capitalist. So you got to like work that. But I mean, you kind of got a shtick going there too. Like it's, you boomer the stream. So.
I got to boomer the stream every time. Well, and here's the thing is like you coming on my show makes you look better too, because, I have the really good, crisp, clean video. I give you a nice border, but I also have filters on your audio. So even if your audio sounds like trash, I'm able to make it sound better for my computer. You're welcome to everybody who's ever come on my show with trash audio. You can appreciate me now. I didn't figure out how to do that until like episode 60 or something like that, though. So it took a while. I was going to say,
if your camera's higher definition, you're not doing me any favors. Like the lower resolution, the better.
Dude, that's what your beard's for, buddy. Same as me. It makes me look much more attractive than I. Yeah. Dude, so we have to talk about Kanye West. Listen, I have been a big Kanye West fan for a long time. His music has been fucking incredible. I think, I don't know that the last couple albums have been like bangers, like they were. But I mean, this man put out some life-changing hip-hop albums over the last fucking 20 years. And he's amassed this wonderful, beautiful, huge fucking empire for a hip-hop artist. He's one of the most richest people in the world. Definitely in the top, 10 richest black people. And he has now basically said, I don't give a fuck about my riches. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. That is crazy to think about the fact that there's people that are stepping out from behind the Wizard of Oz, right? And saying, I don't care about this $1 billion anymore. I don't give a shit. I'm going to fucking say what
right.
said.
We're looking at you, Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a Medea does anti-Semitism
Jesus.
anytime soon. But it's crazy to me whether you agree with him or not. Okay, whether you think he's a lunatic or he's crazy or he's not smart as people think he is, this or that. The fact that someone that's that rich, that is completely shielded from the everyday person, right, is able to step out of out of their own kind of narcissism and say, hey, we need to start talking about these problems. That's crazy to me. I mean, there's a very fine line in the narrative that is allowed to come from Hollywood. Okay, you want to talk about climate change? Fine. You want to talk about the patriarchy? Fine. You want to talk about, this or mental health? Fine. But anytime you step outside of the allowable opinion in Hollywood, you're ostracized immediately.
Yeah, Gina Carano.
Yeah, Gina Carano, for example. Gina Carano, she didn't say anything racist.
Yeah.
She didn't say anything, she didn't throw out any anti-Semitism. She didn't say that we need to kill, gays or anything like that. She simply just supported Trump.
No, it was...
And the January 6th stuff, she said.
She drew some comparison to, like, concentration.
Sure.
And that's what did her
Still
in.
not racism. Still
That
not
was it. Was a
anti-Semitism.
tweet, correct?
Yeah, it was a tweet.
Yeah, it was a tweet comparing the COVID regime and the mandates and everything to Nazi Germany.
No, there was something she
wasn't
did,
it?
She did something before that. Buddy.
Yeah, it was before that, but
okay.
there was some sort of...
It was before that. It was just like simply supporting Trump, then the COVID stuff, and also January 6th. But she didn't say anything racist. She just said, "Hey, I don't think January 6th." I don't know exactly what it was. I don't remember.
It was some pretty boomer thing, but
it wasn't like anything terrible.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't like January 6th didn't go far enough or some crazy thing like that.
Yeah,
or like it's
what the LPNH put tweets out while they're sleeping. Like,
well, no, I
mean, they're having a bad day.
No,
if it's only that offensive.
That's like a tweet that LPNH was like typed up, and they were like, doesn't go far enough, and just deleted it. Like they didn't even put it out. You know what I mean?
We're not even gonna do that one. That one won't even. That won't even.
That doesn't even. Yeah, that doesn't even.
It's the type of thing your boomer
Dude, that's the problem with what we've done is like we've pushed the envelope so far that remember that one that just blew everyone's minds, the child labor tweet from last year,
which was great, and everybody's totally forgot about that now.
Yeah, I mean, if we tweeted that again today, it would be like, yeah, okay, whatever. But back then,
wait,
that's it, huh? That's all you got.
What was the child labor
tons
tweet?
of people to come out of the woodwork to condemn us and crazy.
The child labor tweet basically said that what was it, like life would be a lot better if child labor was legalized or something like that. I don't know.
It was like, yeah, your children are going to learn more on a job site than in a classroom. We should abolish child labor laws or something. And everybody was like, oh my god.
Okay, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was very benign. I mean, it was a very libertarian, because that's the problem, is that a lot of the things they put out are like libertarian positions.
Yeah.
The losers in the party just don't like the way it was said, right?
Like, and Minecraft is the most popular game in the world. It's obvious that we should get rid of child labor laws because the children clearly yearn for the mines.
Well, it's just, no, here's the thing, dude. Like when I was a kid, I had 2 paper routes, dude, right? Like at 9 years old, dude, I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday mornings to go throw fucking 2-inch thick papers, bro. You know what I mean? And I made $150 a month. And then once a month, I got to go down to the Daily Ledger and in the evening and do a phone bank, basically, where we all called.
I forgot how it's uphill both ways and you were in a hurricane.
Well, no, it wasn't even. It was like I just put I had paper bags, like bags, like canvas that you put your papers in. I put them on my. I'd either rollerblade with them because I was a rollerblader. I know I'm gay.
How old were you when this happened?
Like 9, 10, 11.
Oh my, yeah. Go find a 10-year-old who does that shit now.
Yeah, and I'd ride my bike every day after school. I'd get home. I'd have a stack of papers on my door that were delivered. I'd fold them. I'd rubber band them. I'd put them in my bags. I'd ride my bike around the neighborhood and throw papers, dude. And I made $150 a month. And then I did a telethon once a month from the Daily Ledger. And you didn't even get paid for that. They just you won candy, dude.
Wow.
Right? Like I had like boxes of Airheads and shit in my room, and it was like, but I fucking loved it. And I had money, and we were poor, dude. We were dirt fucking poor. I mean, dirt poor. My mom worked 3 jobs just to keep a roof over her. She's a single mother, 2 kids. We didn't have shit. My mom, when she got us things, she had to go like above and fucking beyond. Like one time she mortgaged the house to take us to Disneyland, bro. Okay, I'm telling you, my mom had to go put herself in mad, crazy debt just to give us anything ever, and so like me having that $150 a month meant everything to me. And I will wake up at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning on Saturdays and they'll throw papers. It didn't bother me because it was like I was making money. I had money now. The fact that you can't do that as a child anymore,
No, that's fucking rare, dude.
it's fucked up, dude. Like we all had paper routes when I was a kid, dude. Like everybody in the neighborhood had some paper route that they had to ride fucking 6 miles every day to do. And I had a buddy who was like on the front page of the newspaper because he had like 3 paper routes at once, and he was like, I don't know, 12, 13 or something. And we had money. You know what I mean? Like we didn't have any other money any other way as a kid, dude. So the fact that I had that opportunity meant a ton to me and my family. Right, and I was able to get little things that I wanted and buy video games that I wanted and shit, and we couldn't have done that on my mom's dime. So like that was cool, and now you can't do that anymore. And so like to say that child labor laws should be abolished is fucking not a crazy opinion,
Or the minimum wage.
but in today's society, right, where the government is obviously blatantly trying to take control of your children, they can't let children work. If they let children work, there's no way they start learning how to make their own money.
They might become independent.
They might not want to chop their dicks off.
They might not want to chop their dicks off. They might not be depressed. They might have some money. They might not be hungry. They might not think that they might not grow up thinking they have to be dependent on the government, which is bad for the government's business.
Economic libido.
Exactly. And that's where we're at, dude. That's literally what's going on. And so this is not a crazy, like, extremist position to say that child labor laws should be abolished. That is the libertarian position. Mm-hmm. And we should be brave enough to say that. Now, LPNH puts out a tweet, and of course they get dunked on, and all these like losers from the party are like, oh my God, why would you say that? It's like, because it's the libertarian position.
Yeah.
You fucking idiots, right? I don't know, Reed, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. And the other thing is, we can put out a tweet that just says the right thing, like abolish the minimum wage, abolish, child labor laws, the war in Ukraine is dumb and we shouldn't get, you could say all these things or whatever, but let's be real. What state affiliate has made it into the news like over a dozen times and has been condemned by all the worst people on the internet repetitively, like over and over and over again? I love the guys from Kentucky, and they made that one tweet, last year that really blew up about the stars or whatever.
The Jewish stars, yeah.
But since then they haven't really made it on the radar. We make it on the radar like once a week if we're chilling. And so it's like, okay, if you want to get the libertarian ideas pumped into the zeitgeist and get them on the table of conversation, you can't do it by just, playing it safe and saying stuff that's just 100% professional. Like you got to be a little risky and, try different ways of doing things. And sometimes you're going to mess up. Sometimes it's not going to land. Sometimes it's not going to be the exact reaction you wanted, but that's part of the game. And I'd say like all in all, like, it's been a complete success. We're the largest state affiliate on Twitter now. There are tons and tons of blue checks and reporters who are just watching us, waiting to find out what the next crazy thing we're going to say about any.
Meghan McCain has tweet notifications turned on for you.
For sure.
It's so funny to me. So here's a little story. I joined the Libertarian Party for the first time in 2010, left pretty quickly after that, like 3 months, and that came back in 2016. And I was I would say blue-pilled, not left libertarian, but I was definitely like Josh Equal or something, right? Like where I was like, oh no, we can't say that, we can't say this, and we don't want to piss people off, and we need to win hearts and minds and all that stuff. And well, that does work for some people, like Larry Sharp. He's a heart and mind winner, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what I did was I started studying the history of the Libertarian Party. When did the Libertarian Party do the very best as far as national membership, stuff like that? And I looked, and it was fucking Harry Brown in 2000, right? 96 and 2000, Harry Brown ran as the presidential candidate. At one point, he had almost tripled the national membership as the presidential candidate. And I wonder what his messaging was like, Harry Brown. So then I go and I dig deeper, and I realize there was like 2 people in the entire libertarian movement, that were brave enough to say we shouldn't go to war after 9/11. And one of those men was Harry Brown. Okay. And Harry Brown did it on September 12th, 2001.
Yep. Damn.
Wrote a paper, an op-ed, sent it out to papers and everything, basically saying everyone needs to chill the fuck out. We settle and not go fight these stupid fucking wars, basically. But I mean, way more eloquently than I could put it out. That's the kind of messaging he used. Okay. And you have to understand that at one point, saying that, you think all marriage should be legal. You think all drugs should be legal. You think immigration should be much easier. These were all extremist viewpoints, bro. Right?
Yeah.
For the Libertarian Party to have. But because they had them and made them, like a normal household talk, we don't win elections, but we are a big enough movement to make people talk about what we're saying. Mm-hmm. That moves the Overton window. So there's no better way to move the Overton window than to fucking jump kick and drop kick it as far as you possibly can, so that all the people go, oh, well, that other position on the drug thing doesn't seem so crazy now. Maybe we should look into that. That's moderate position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's because of people like Reed. Oh,
yeah. It's like we were saying about the child labor tweet. Like now, that's nothing. A year ago that was insane, but now it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't even seem crazy anymore
at all. It's not. It's just like it's like the moderate position now, and that's because they went and did this crazy, these crazy tweets. Which, by the way, were all libertarian ideals that they were tweeting too. Like, I mean, I guess your 6 million tweet was a little weird for some people, but I thought it was fucking. I understood it. You know what I mean? But of course, I'm also not always constantly looking for anti-Semitism and everything that everybody does, right? And so to me, to say that minimum wage at 6 million, or what was it? Or you're an anti-Semite?
Okay, so I have kind of a fun story along those same lines.
Okay, go ahead, Ryan.
So I got in a little Twitter debate with a legitimate Holocaust denier over the weekend, and I was just like, I just wanted to know what this guy was about. I was just confused. And the thing he could not let go of, he didn't believe it was possible to burn a human body in less than 60 minutes. I was like,
we do that all the time at incinerators for.
I think it's like 55 minutes nowadays, but he could not I read
people
through.
Would be getting away with murder all the time if we had incinerators like that in our homes. All the time.
I read through, I think, like 45 pages of a 90-page like study about like going just point by point about like the like big Holocaust denier and all the points that he makes, and they're like going through, hey, here's some techniques before that showed cremation could be done in like 40 minutes, and here's this and this, and it's going through every single point, and it was really well done. And I show the guy the study, he said they quoted this number, it's dumb. Like 30 seconds after I sent it to him, after I just spent 25 minutes reading through this, and I was like, this seems pretty thorough.
Well, it's just like the political debate, right? Like most people aren't ever going to read what you send them. They don't give a fuck. They've already made their mind up. And I've never, listen, here's the deal for me. Like I've never denied the Holocaust. In fact, I've gotten mad at people for denying the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that the Holocaust happened at some level, right? But what the problem is that we can question almost every event that's ever happened in history, right?
Yeah.
We're allowed to question the narrative on all kinds of events all the time, until recently, with the COVID issue. Of course, you're not allowed to question the science or question right? Of course, 9/11 was one of the first things that I can remember in my lifetime that you were not allowed to question the narrative. You would get canceled. People were getting canceled before social media. Truthing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Holocaust.
Yep.
Okay? You're not allowed to talk about the narrative. You're going to accept anything that the people who wrote the history books have said, or you're in trouble.
Or you're Alex Jones.
Or you're not even Alex Jones, you're Kanye West. Right?
Yeah.
Or Nick Fuentes, or all these people that are seen as these huge raging anti-Semites. But that's not how history works. You know what I mean? Like that's not how history works. Like, listen, the victor always writes the history books. That's how it works, okay? In America, we came over here. We were like, yeah, we were just happy pilgrims that wanted to have dinner with the Indians, and we gave them some blankets because they were cold. And then, and then we fought off the British. And then, you know what I mean? Like we wrote the history books because we were the victor, okay? But that's not really what happened. right? We fucking gave them smallpox blankets, and we fucking killed and pillaged and raped and fucking all this shit. I mean, it was bad. It was really fucking bad what we did to the Native Americans. Okay, but you won't find that in the history books in school.
No.
You will now for some of it.
I know. Not the real pilgrimage.
No, you'll find the 1619 project now.
Well,
it's gone. It's gone. The Overton window. You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
It slid so far
and
left.
it depends on what level of history book
Yes.
you're talking about, because my wife was taking like a history course. We met when she was in college, and I started reading through it, and it talked about the Constitution, the founding documents, for a paragraph. And then it had a whole page on women's role in society during the period that the Constitution was signed.
Right.
And then another whole page on Native Americans during that time.
Africans too. Or Africans at the time. Probably too. Their role as slaves and all that stuff.
I don't know. I was crying from laughter, so I didn't go on. I was like, really? This is what you're going to focus on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy that you can't question science, history. You're not allowed to question anything that comes from the top anymore. All over. But that's always been the one, right? You're not allowed to question World War II. You're not allowed to question the actions of the Holocaust. You're not allowed to question the actions of Stalinist and Marxist-Leninists. But you are allowed to question the Americans' role in world. You are allowed to question all kinds of other things, right? So that's been my only concern, is like, we can't have a healthy debate and we're just going to shut down anybody who automatically questions it. That's going to make more people want to fucking question it. That's how, there's a natural contrarian vibe to a lot of people in this. If you're not giving them the opportunity to research and discuss and debate ideas and the history and the science, then they're going to think that you're being evil, and they're going to go into their conspiratorial mode, and you're shutting down dissent, and they're going to go out and they're going to go say bad things about this event. And so we're creating more of that every day by refusing to have the discussion, by censoring any discussion about it at all on any social media platform. You know what
Correct.
I mean? And this is what's happening to Kanye West. Okay? And I've said it on the show repeatedly. Kanye comes from the hip hop world. Okay? And we've had this discussion about how the hip hop world came to prominence here in the United States. And we've even talked about it with like Run DMC and their Adidas deal, right? How they just liked Adidas, so they made a song about Adidas, and Adidas was like, oh shit, it's real. That's why our sales have bumped up 7,000%. We need to go into, and they offered them what? $1 million deal. $1 million bucks. Thanks for making us $1 billion company. Here's your $1 million. Catch you later. It's been going on in the hip hop world for a long time, and I'm not just going to say it's the Jews, right? Like I don't think it's just the Jews. I think that it's a record executive problem, but there is an overrepresented amount of that specific ethnicity in the record executive world. Okay?
Well, Jay mentioned that in the Tim Pool segment. He mentioned that how when he went into talks for, was it a movie or a show or something? It's not about the money. He goes, I have tons of money. I'm very wealthy. It's like, it doesn't matter how much money you have.
The bank.
When you go into negotiations, they negotiate so that they have leverage on you.
Right.
So that they have the power. So it's more of a negotiation on positioning and power. I can't remember what his exact quote was, but it was very interesting.
He said
how
there were
that.
like two currencies, influence and money.
Yes.
But did you see the interview? Or like it was just like a little video TMZ of Kanye, and they're like talking to him, and they were like, all right, can you list the producers and people? He's like, I shouldn't. I'm not gonna do it. All right, I'm gonna do it. Pulls out his phone, pulls up a spreadsheet, and he's like, here's this company, this company, this company, this company, this company. Here's all of their executives. The people in green are of a certain ethnicity, and then the people in red aren't. And it's like
all green.
80+% green.
It's all green, yeah. And that's I mean, that's the truth. And they, and look, whether there's a crazy conspiracy to own us in that ethnicity, right? I don't know.
We're just good on them for.
But they were, when they
building themselves
immigrated
up.
to the United States, they got into finance, they got into entertainment, they got into these industries, and they do control those industries.
Well,
I mean,
they created Hollywood. Okay, when I say they, right? Okay, but so I want to get this clear. There's two things going on here. It's one where the conspiracy theory, quote unquote, conspiracy theory, is that it's all on purpose, right? That it's a coordinated attempt to control something. The other side of it is, yeah, there's a lot of Jews in Hollywood because they were kicked out of New York back in the day. They went and created Hollywood and said, we'll go
109 countries. Actually.
Yeah, we'll go do our own thing. Yeah, exactly, right?
They've been kicked
so
out of 100.
We'll go do our own thing. We'll create Hollywood from scratch. And so the people involved there just happen to have a Jewish background. They're secular Jews.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a disproportionate representation by Jewish people in Hollywood. I'd say the conspiracy theory that people will jump on you for is then saying, "Oh, it's a cohort, it's a gang, it's an organized thing." I don't know how much proof there is in that, but Ye
There's
walked
kind of
out
the
of the interview.
broader cathedral that
Well, there's
Mal
the
is
cathedral
kinda-
is a thing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt that to me that the cathedral is a thing, and it is and to me, the cathedral is a coordinated attempt to stifle dissent and usher in communism. And I think that that's been the goal of communism since the beginning of communism. Is okay. And I had this discussion with somebody on Top Lobster's Twitter feed today. Like he's like, "Oh, what's your problem with communism? To name what it is that communism talks about that's bad." And I said, "Dude, but that's the whole thing about communism. Is like." Communists got together in these little secret fucking groups in back rooms and said, okay, we can't just say we want to rule all these people and take all their businesses and burn down their fucking businesses and so what we have to do is we have to go out and say that it's all about peace and love and equality and this and that and this and that. And then while we're doing that, we're over here trying to take people's businesses, trying to control their children, trying to do all these things. That's how communism works. That's how it's worked since Marxist-Leninism. Since Marx wrote the ideology is that they say one thing, but they're trying to do something entirely different. So when you're saying something, that is a conspiracy to take over the media, take over the higher learning system, to take over the social media companies. I mean, that is literally the intent of communism, is to take that over, change the culture, and make more. So is there one in a certain faith? I don't know. And I'm not gonna, but I do know that, whenever you see these same communist ideals being pushed, a lot of times there's an overlap there. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think a lot of these things are just incentives, right? Like I mean, if like-minded people tend to try to work together, people of the same religion or the same background or whatever, they tend to congregate with each other. It's not anything weird. The Irish, the Italians, lots of black communities. Like, it's not like it's something that's out of the ordinary. It's just you're not allowed to talk about this one group of people for some reason. And just like you were saying with, the 2020 election or 9/11 or the Holocaust or anything that's ever happened, when you're not allowed to ask questions and you're not allowed to make any statements about anything, all that does is incentivize other people to draw dangerous conclusions or bad conclusions, And so I think it's just really stupid. And I don't know, like I think a lot of Jewish people are erroneously led to believe certain things actually serve America's best interests or their best interests, like supporting Israel. I know a lot of Jewish people just by default think that that is something we should do. And a lot of them don't know about the foreign policy implications of backing Israel all the time,
Right.
or any of the things Israel does to the Palestinians, or the how much Israel was a driving force in getting us into the Iraq war. They don't know any of that stuff. So it's not like they're all in on some scheme to take over the world. It's just incentives lead you to work with people who are from your same religion or your same ethnicity background or whatever. And you're just led to believe things that aren't necessarily true. I mean, if there was, if there was another country in the Middle East that was like representing capitalism and, you know, like rednecks and, you know, gun ownership or something.
I'd
That
love
like
to see the redneck capitalist Middle Eastern country. I'd be hanging out there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but like, you know, you can see a lot of Americans just feeling some sort of like, you know, camaraderie with that country. Like, oh yeah, these are my people. Like, cool, and you know, I'm with those guys. Those guys are awesome or whatever. So, I don't know. There's nothing really weird about it to me. It's just the only thing that's weird is that you're not allowed to just talk about it and ask questions.